This is our final presentation for Bad Pitches. My name is Francis.
And I'm Joey.
Now, if you can't tell by now, we're looking at issues in the music industry. And we thought, what better way to start than with artist pay? We found this really interesting statistic or graph, and it shows that as consumer outlays have increased, physical purchases, the place where artists have historically made the most of their money, have actually plummeted. Another startling graph is this one. It shows all of the middlemen that take money before artists get their very, very small green sliver of revenue at the top of the guitar. This is really important for us to keep in mind. Now, in addition to artist issues, we also wanted to look at fan pains and gains. So we did interviews. Now, our first round of student interviews really established the value of interaction and community within the music. People want to connect through music and about music. We also did Cleveland artist interviews to really see if our research held water. And indeed, there is a lack of money in the industry, but there's more to it than that. There's also a desire for fan to artist connection, and marketing is really hard. You can either make music full-time or market that music full-time, but it's hard to do both. Finally, we did some fan interviews, and that really cemented that there was a capacity and importantly a desire to donate, subscribe, and support artists directly. And that essentially led us to our problem statement. There's a lack of human connection and interaction in the music industry, and artists aren't able to make a living off of their work.
So based off of our interviews, we came up with 2 customer archetypes. This is our customer archetype for our fans, Musical Mitchell. He's a frequent music listener and loves to listen to music, gets bored of listening to the same music over and over again, struggles to find new artists, and wants to connect with his favorite artists and fans in a way that's better and more effective than social media. So this is our customer archetype for our artist, up-and-coming Uma. She's passionate about music and loves to make music, struggles to make a living off of music and struggles to gain exposure, finds social media difficult and time-consuming to use, and she also cares about having a connection with her fans.
So going more into that connection piece, we really wanted to make that the forefront of our solution, and we did some general research and found that people almost always share the same emotions when listening to a certain melody or sound. And also, when people talk about music, they generally reveal more about themselves, which is definitely something we picked up on in interviews, so we really want to stress this connection part in our solution. We identified 3 main competitors, Patreon, Indiegogo, and Kickstarter, and we created a competitive analysis grid with all of our competitors as well as our service, Music Connect, and then all the features that we determined through our interviews. So all of our competitors have that fan-to-artist connection because fans are able to directly support the artist. However, they all lack the fan-to-fan connection. There's no way for fans to interact with each other. Patreon and Indiegogo both improve artist pay because more or less all of that money from fans is going directly to the artist. But Kickstarter is more in the yellow because if artists do not reach their goal, they get none of that money. So it's not really a foolproof way for artists to make more money. And none of them create a community because, as I mentioned, they lack that fan-to-fan connection, so they don't go full circle with the community. However, our solution has all of these values, which leads us into our value statement. Our solution will improve artist pay, foster fan-to-fan and fan-to-artist connection, and promote community within music.
Now, you might be asking, how are we going to do this? And the answer is actually pretty simple. It's with an app. These are some screenshots of early prototypes of our app, and the only thing that I wanted to highlight is just the simplistic feel and really trying to bring forward the features of fan-to-fan and fan-to-artist connection. Those really need to be at the forefront. All of the features in this app are really intentionally chosen to explicitly link to pains and gains that we've established through interviews and research with fans and artists alike. We've tried to really get to the meat of the issue and not include anything extraneous that would distract from that.
So we decided to set out and conduct interviews at Hawken and Uptown to prototype our app, and we found that 100% of 22 people that we interviewed gave us positive feedback on our app. So this is something for us to look forward to going forward with our company and app. And so we talked to you about what our app does, and now we're going to talk to you about how it's going to work. So initially, our first year, we're going to have to pay $25,000 to make and program our app, and then additionally $5,000 every year to maintain our app as our users grow. So we did some research and found that combined Spotify and Apple Music has 263 million monthly users on both platforms worldwide. So this just shows us how big of a market this is for us to tap into.
So our main marketing strategies are going to be putting flyers in venues, promoting our app on social media through ads, as well as having artists promote it, and having referrals so users can refer other people and they each get 1 month of subscription free. So this is just a quick mock-up of a poster we made or a flyer. People can easily scan the code and download the app. And then this is a Facebook ad, just a simple description of the app as well as an easy way to download and check out our website. So these are the first artists/bands that we want to have on our app, and we want to have promote our app through their social media. We also all interviewed these people. So the Sharp Polka Band has 8,600 likes on Facebook. Lighthouse in the Whaler has 31,000, and Not Only Finn has 5,200. So this would be a great basis to get our first customers. So I talked about how we're going to get our customers through the referrals, social media, and flyers. But we're going to keep them through the new exclusive content that artists are going to be offering them, as well as the sense of community that the users are going to really want to remain in. And growing is fairly similar to getting with the referrals, general word of mouth, social media, and flyers.
So this is Rogers Diffusion of Innovation Bell, and we decided to use the innovators portion of this graph to calculate our users for the first 2 years of our company. So we decided to use 1% innovators for our first year and 2% for our second year. So based off of that graph, we calculated that we would have 13,950 users in Northeast Ohio in our first year of our app.
All right, so Joey just mentioned that 13,950 number, and obviously, not all those users will just come to the app organically. We actually need to market to them. Now, interestingly enough, and as Jules mentioned earlier, we actually want to leverage artists' existing social media connections to draw people to the app. We did some calculations, and we think that we can actually attract about 7,000 people this way. This is a really interesting solution because it would be free to us, and would also benefit the artist by getting an early foothold in the app. Now, we still have the other 6,000 or so to worry about. So through a blend of flyers and targeted social media, Facebook and Instagram ads, we've come up with this number. And this is the acquisition cost, not the cost per click, not the cost per view. This is really meaningful because there's a really high return on investment for a lifelong customer if we can get them now. And then the final question is, how do we make money off of this? We want to operate the app on a freemium model, and we want to offer fans the ability to subscribe directly to artists for $1.99 a month or so. There's also potential for other consumer outlets such as merchandise, ticket sales, or donations. And then off the top of all that, we simply take transaction fees. That's how we make our money. Now, we expect to be profitable in the second year, assuming that there is some natural growth occurring. And just to bounce back, this is what we think the problem statement is. There's a lack of human connection and interaction, and artists aren't able to make a living off of their work. To solve that, we wanted to create an app that improves artist pay, fosters fan-to-fan and fan-to-artist connection, and finally, and most importantly, promotes the community that is so important in the music that we love. Thank you.
All right, questions?
I have a question. So you mentioned a very high lifetime value. What goes into that, and how long do you figure the average lifetime is for one of your subscribers? And it's like ballpark, what is that lifetime value?
I'm not exactly sure, but that is an interesting question. It's not something we looked into. What I do know is that we assume that people will be paying maybe $1.99 a month to one artist, as that really pivoted off of Mr. Gerace's vital information, that people very quickly and very easily say either yes or no to that $1.99 a month. It's not really a big pain point, it's just either something that they do or don't do.
And how do your transaction fees and things like that compare to the $1.99?
We actually, our goal with the app is that we wanted to have the ability for artists to do donations directly to the artists, and for the first year we actually want to charge a 0% fee on that because we want to attract users, and we really think that it backs our mission statement of allowing artists to get as much of the money as possible. Now, from other consumer outlets like merchandise, ticket sales, or not donations, or subscriptions, we want to take differing percentage fees based on that. We also wanted to make the subscription fee lower for the same reasons we wanted to make the donation fee 0, just because it furthers the mission, at least for the first year.
On the topic of money, the cost per acquisition, what's the total? Can you walk me through that a little bit?
Sure. Let me do that. Okay. So we were looking at the flyers. What we want to do is actually put them in concert venues and even potentially have artists distribute them. Through our research and some research that we've done in previous challenges, I think we're looking at about $2.50 per acquisition with a flyer. Facebook's quite a bit higher at closer to, I think, $17 per person. It's tough because there's a lot of different information on the internet about this, and as I'm sure you know, ads are not a put your finger on it, this is how much it's going to cost thing. That was our estimate. It might be a little bit on the high side, but I'd say it's better to be on the high side than the low side. So that's what we're looking at.
Good insight.
What are the other issues in local music ecosystem? Is the pay or the associated with local smaller venues? Did you consider in the model how this kind of app that's very focused locally could also support the venues and the artists directly?
Yeah, we've added a venue portion where you can like search for local venues and search for concerts. We are also thinking about adding like a way for venues to book artists directly off of the app.
I think it's definitely something we thought about and something we would include in the near future. Couldn't develop at all for the course of the challenge.
Guys, while it didn't appear on your slides, you want to talk about how you learned about the venue side of the business? For your venue?
Yeah, we went to the Beachland Ballroom and interviewed the owner, Cindy Broderick, and she basically told us about like how much of the ticket sales that artists get versus how much venues get. And really the venues are making money off of like food and alcohol, so most of those ticket prices are going to the artists. And artists also make money off of merchandise and meet and greets.
So did any of the artists ask you when you're going to be done, where you're going to sign up?
No, we said we would like update them, and we invited some of them to the presentation, but they couldn't make it, but we can definitely like keep in contact with them.
Back to some more number stuff. I like the numbers, especially the ones with dollar signs. When we talk about the cost to develop and ongoing costs, well, you know, what's the process there? Where did you look? Who did you talk to?
Whatever.
Well, it's way back.
Who wants that
I
one?
think, yeah. But I think it was 25,000
Yeah,
for
it was.
software and 5,000 a year.
It's here, there you go. Who wants that?
Yeah, I basically read some articles about app development and people talking about basically if you want to yourself develop it versus hiring people. So we were kind of thinking like on the cheaper end of 25,000 just to create like the simple app that we want. And then maybe if more users start using it, obviously we'd have to invest more money. But it also said like about 20% is what you're going to need a year to maintain the app. So that's where the 5,000 came from.
So how many different artists do you think you need on there to begin to generate significant income?
Well, I think we would start out with those 3 that we identified earlier, as well as maybe some of the other ones we interviewed. And I think like just general word of mouth through those artists, talking to their fellow artists, we could get more onto the app.
I don't think, I mean, going off of just Facebook likes for these pages alone, and we've got 45,000 likes just for these 3 artists. And if we can get, I think, like I said, we calculated about 7,000 that could come onto our program. We wouldn't need terribly many more than that to reach that 14,000 first year threshold.
I think we should move on to the next presentation. So thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.